Anti-Afro Bengalis, we're going to get to that second part of the video when I address binary and Carrie Anne, arms and all. I'm addressing the situation with Asinine Zero. Asinine Zero wants to perpetrate, you're a phony. You know good and damn well you want our names mentioned on your channel. She went up there and told D. Darrell Dumpsey, don't mention my name on her channel.
Yeah, they did talk about something else. They talked about me, and they talked about anti-Afro and that group. Oh, I'm sorry.
But guess what? We got tons of screenshots with our names all up in your lice-infested, landfill smelly chat. That was some bullshit, unnecessary drama. How many times have people said on live streams, can you check the back chat? She didn't have to make that announcement. You did it on purpose. You're not slick. You're just as phony as Carrie Anne. You are nothing but a desperate, scrambling, scratching, and scraping for any sort of attention to come your way, and you got to make sure it involves who. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Don't mention that name, but her chat is filled with our name, and I don't see any comments that were erased. Oh, sure, she can go back and erase them now, but we have the screenshots. She didn't say delete those comments. She didn't delete the comments. It's the channel host. All you got to do is click delete when our names are posted, but she doesn't do that. Lying on one hand, don't mention our names, but allowing the chat to sit there and post message after message after message. This is a phony bullshit. Now, I'm only going to tell you this one time. You need to work much harder to eradicate references to us in your raggedy ass live stream. If you find that an impossibility, I will have to take appropriate action. Now, I'm not even going to tell you, since you can't figure it out, my standing and my right to do such. But go ahead and let it continue, and you'll see you have no business with our names in your chat. Now, on to you, Binary. Binary, what the hell are you doing? Are you really that bored, Binary? You're already bored? Didn't you build a new channel or do something? You ran off into another sector and you're bored already? You were so bored that you want to make up shit about AFW, friends and supporters. What's gotten into you? More of the same. Why aren't you dealing with Carrie Anne? See, we're dealing with Carrie Anne offline. We're not going to sit here and let Carrie Anne run the lie that she never got suspended or fired. We're not letting Carrie Anne do that. All the crap that Carrie Anne did, her illegal conduct, her actionable conduct, we're not letting Carrie Anne run a lie through the YouTube streets. But you allowed Carrie Anne to do what? She falsely accused you of harming children. But your scenario, conduct, whatever you want to call it, took place with all adults. You weren't at Disneyland. You weren't at Chuck E. Cheese. You weren't at the water park, and you let Carrie Anne slander you. Why aren't you doing anything about that? We're doing plenty about what Carrie Anne said and did to us, but you want to go ahead and make up a lie about AFW. Don't be a coward, Binary. And another question, why aren't you calling Carrie Anne out for being a hypocrite, for being on the woman's channel where she made a fool of herself? Carrie Anne, Binary, you full well know, doesn't like children, constantly ridicules single parents, says all parents are miserable and they don't want kids. She will believe lies that people say about children and their parents, more specifically, parents who don't take care of their own kids. Carrie Anne will run with lies like that. But you're saying nothing? You're not making a big production out of the fact that Carrie Anne is on a channel of a woman who people keep mentioning her son is not with her? And I don't even know whether that's true, but I'm not even over in these other spaces. This information trickles over into spaces where I'm at. And Carrie Anne is over on that channel kissing this woman's ass. Why aren't you saying anything about that? You instead find it fun and exciting to make up some bullshit about AFW going to attack somebody. You should know out of everybody the criteria by which AFW comes and makes a public statement. We make public statements. We launch campaigns against people who do something specifically to us. If we address an issue with a person directly, it's over and done with, Binary. You should know that. You should know that more than anyone. But you're letting Carrie Anne go over to that channel and kiss this woman's ass, although she constantly ridicules parents, single parents. She doesn't even like children. Why are you silent? You can't possibly think you're going to get somewhere making up some cockamamie bull about AFW going to attack someone we have no reason to attack. Attack is not even the correct terminology. Let me modify that. We defend ourselves when we need to. We're threatened with all types of violence, when our homes are swatted, when someone busts into the Social Security Administration record system and distributes the information to demons and freaks online who turn around and repost it. Yeah, we address those issues. Slander, we address those issues. Sexual harassment, we address those issues. Any type of anti-protected class attacks, we address those issues. But we do it within the confines of the law. We don't get up on panels screaming and hollering like we were raised in the wild with no semblance of control. We don't try to get shit started where there is none, like what you're trying to do. You have to be bored, Binary. There's no other reason for this. And I can go on for a very long time. Binary, you've been around. You've seen what's happened. Quit acting like nothing has gone down. This is completely pristine canvas. And all this is new to you. You just choose to ignore. These are atrocities that you're acting like nothing ever happened, even involving yourself. You know how these idiots constantly try to find ways to throw our names into shit we have nothing to do with. And you're jumping back on that bandwagon again, but you were silent on Carrie Anne. You know Carrie Anne doesn't act like that. Carrie Anne was, oh my goodness. You know how Carrie Anne is. That was a complete, total phony act. Wait a minute. You want to see the real Carrie Anne? I'm going to give you. This is a perfect example of the real Carrie Anne. But just hang on. Check this out.
We had a pleasant, cordial, 7-minute-plus conversation and answered all of our questions. But when we told her at one point Garcia's Apple Watch was pinging from inside of her house, this happened.
That was coming from your house.
Stop! I told you, if you don't want to go to jail with me.
She yanks the ID right off my neck and then claims that I hit her.
Yes, yes. Put me in the camera. Put me in camera. Put me in camera. Put me in the camera. Put me in camera. Put me in camera.
That's who you're dealing with. The outburst, that's Carrie Anne. 99% of the time. That's her. Arms and all. How's she calling somebody fat? Her arms are just as big as, let me see your handcuffs. Let me see your transcript. And I got the photos to prove it. I have to dig them out. But how is she talking about anybody being fat and what they eat? You're no black Twiggy. Are you serious? And all she wants to do, she was trying so hard to contain herself. She's such a phony. But you see her normal behavior is just what you saw in this clip. Carrie Anne typically comes online over-medicated, slurring her words, or she screams and hollers the top of her lungs. Carrie Anne is not calm, cool, and collected. See, what you saw Carrie Anne doing is the behavior she perpetrated to get through school. But when she gets over to the job, she starts attacking her own students and their parents, lashing out at them about being biracial. Coming onto YouTube, attacking the entire black race, it's more specifically black men. And then her favorite, going after people with light skin or who have parents of different races. You're not covering any of this. You're sitting over there and acting like Carrie Anne is acting like herself. That is not Carrie Anne. That is a phony, medicated, appropriately medicated Carrie Anne who finally decided to take the proper dose of her medication. Now, Carrie Anne has brought this up before. I'm not in her medicine cabinet. She has spoken freely about this. That was a phony act that Carrie Anne can never pull off for any sustained amount of time. And the fact that she's up there kissing a woman's ass who she would ridicule 99.999% of the time, and this 0.0001 is ulterior motives. Since Photon hasn't yet convinced Carrie Anne to go back to his channel so we can get her ass dragged again, she needs to be dragged from here to eternity. The shit that she did is unforgivable, and we're going to make sure she has due consequences, but you're letting her get off. You let Carrie Anne get off for what she did to you, not us. You also know her hallmark, just like this woman in this video, is messing with folks, then throwing herself on the ground, having a temper tantrum as if she's victimized and screaming and hollering. But you elect to ignore that and try to make up some bullshit about AFW that doesn't even exist. Get your shit together, Binary. Don't be dragging us into garbage we don't have anything to do with. Quit making up lies. Are you telling me you're already out of content? You're bone dry already that you got to make up lies about us? Why don't you tell them, since you're talking on these platforms, why don't you tell them how Carrie Anne really is, instead of trying to create some fantasy out of something that's just completely non-existent? And Carrie Anne wants to cry and scream when people throw her own words back at her. Well, her elbows are like pitch black midnight. That means you're not scrubbing your elbows. See, this is all she's showing on YouTube. And she's up here crying and screaming about people stating plain, simple facts about her. Again, dishing it out, but can't take it. Well, Binary, don't be dishing shit out on us, because we're not going to take it. You better start speaking facts and keep us out of this bullshit that we don't have anything to do with. It makes absolutely no sense that irrelevant people will be constantly mentioned every single day, more than once a day, several times a day. All these emails coming in with these screenshots and these clips and these live streams. Put your attention where it needs to be put, where there's actual facts. There's a history there that you're choosing to ignore. Listen, everybody, you know I have more coming your way when it needs to come your way. In the meantime, you know the drill. Buyer beware.